Professor Albus Dumbledore knows the powerful dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald is moving to seize control of the wizarding world. Unable to stop him alone, he entrusts magic zoologist Newt Scamander to lead an intrepid team of
Magizoologist.
wizards. There you go. And witches. They soon encounter an array of old and new beasts as they clash with Grindelwald's growing legion of followers. Welcome everybody to the N Word for Nerd podcast. Ladies and gentlemen,
Nerds.
we if this is the first time listening. We are a show by, for, and produced by blurbs. If you don't know what a blurb is,
It's a black nerd. Blurred. Yeah.
there you have it. But
My mom's
everybody,
gonna
yeah,
try
but for
to.
all things, like, share, subscribe, check out Nerd Focus, check out In Your Face Art, and thank you all for listening to all of that crap. Now we can get to the fun part. The shows, the
Why are you
reviews.
here?
Again, yes. As always, like we say, before we get the full review, we give you a one sentence review. So, Jason, what is your one sentence review of The Secrets of Dumbledore?
They should fire J.K. Rowling. Just fire her.
All right. My one sentence review of The Secrets of Dumbledore is The Secrets of Dumbledore was The Secrets of Dumbledore was fantastically boring, and he is beastly inadequate as a leader, and fuck that animal that says otherwise. Jason,
Yes.
what is your review of the Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore?
Oh God, I have so much to say. I'm gonna actually try to stay away from just J.K. Rowling as a person and her current and even probably even my current sort of thoughts around the Harry Potter mythos. And try to specifically stick to this movie per se.
Okay.
This movie, I'm gonna start off firstly with just how it looks. This movie is bland. It looks bland. It looks boring. It's overly dark, as in the look of it, and
Mhm.
it in no way to me resembles like Harry Potter. And I know this is supposed to be like an adult version of Harry Potter, but adult does not mean browns and grays and blacks. All right.
Mhm.
For once, like when we had when we had the original Potter movies. Oh, someone's calling me right when I'm doing a show. We had the original Potter movies, there's a fantastical element not only into the world that was built, but also the costume designs, the sets that were made. Like, Dumbledore was this weird guy in these wizard's robes. It was a lot of the um sort of nomenclature is the word I'm thinking of, but it's not really nomenclature, but a lot of the trappings of things we know about witches and wizards in a real life, and we took it into a place and made it even more fanciful in a world that is resembling of ours, but also very much different. This one, everybody's just in fucking suits, you know,
Yep.
in black and brown. The most colorful suit is worn by Newt Scamander, which is a dark blue, and it's
Mhm.
like you traded this fanciful and like even going to Dumbledore, you traded this fanciful kind of goofy, weird, enigmatic person for very straight Jude Law in a sweater vest. and that's supposed to be the best wizard of all time. So the look of this has already pretty much turned me off. And then the story is as nonsensical and as asinine as it could possibly be. Nothing makes sense in this movie. It was confusing at points. I turned to the people I was watching with, some friends, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. Like I have no idea what's going on. And I'm not, I mean, I'm not the smartest dude in the world. I'm not the number one authority on movies. I have studied the things, so I have some idea of what I'm talking about, but I was completely lost like through halfway through this movie. Like, what the fuck is actually going on here? Like, and it was very, very annoying. Like some of the payoffs that were at the end of the movie didn't work. Uh, the characters were were bland, and it was just like, I guess what they were trying to do, and I don't want to make this entirely J.K. Rowling's fault in writing this screenplay and the story for this, because it could just be like a lot of stuff was left on the cutting floor. But
Mhm.
like a lot of the stuff is like, it seemed like they're trying to do a heist movie, but they didn't understand how heist movies work. So when you get to the part where everything's paying off, it's like, no, you didn't. Not only did you not set this up, you basically, the thing that we thought was going to happen is happening, and there's no like twist or turn or anything. The guy you thought was good, like you set it up, like you think like this guy is supposed to betray them, but from the whole entire get to the thing, he's on their side, and it's not like he even has an opportunity to betray him. The person who comes
Mhm.
up with the thing at the end was the person who had the thing the whole entire time, so it's not like a
Mhm.
surprise that that person was there. Like, and then there's all these like, and J.K. Rowling is uh she does this a lot in the books and stuff like that. These Deus Ex Machinas where just shit just happens, and it's like, oh, magic. But at the end, it's like, yep, magic. This is why we can do this now, because oh, we didn't talk about this at all at first. Like, there's no setup, there's no payoff, and this is like, especially coming from the last movie to this one, and I didn't like the last movie at all because it ended on this really stupid note where characters made decisions that were completely dumb, and then they did this whole thing that doesn't make any sense. And then in this movie, that just not even an inconvenience. In fact,
Nope,
I
nope,
don't
nope,
even
nope.
know. They found out this thing, this very important thing, and I guess we'll go into spoilers after this because I don't give a shit about spoilers. But and it's like, hey, how'd you all find out that this character even knew that? Let alone how'd y'all even care to find out like what the actual situation was? And it's like, y'all don't tell nobody. You know what's great about this movie? Freaking Dan Fogler. That's Jacob Kowalski. He's great.
He is. He
He
is.
is awesome. He is the best part of it. And even this movie, you can kind of see he's phoning it in. Uh,
100%.
freaking
100%.
Ezra Miller. They seem like they were trying to get him out of this movie as quickly as possible. Maybe they realized that his behavior is not enough to get him fired, but enough that they don't want him to be associated with him more. He's barely in this movie, and it's very very apparent they were just like, cut this dude out. Um,
I'll be
Mads
shocked if
Mikkelsen,
he's in the next one. I'll be shocked
he's
if he's
not
in
going
the
to be in
next
the
one.
next one. It's
Yeah.
I, Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, blah. It's like, is he better than Johnny Depp? Maybe. I don't know. There's not a lot of here.
I'll admit I like Mads Nicholson in this one, but I'll wait till my turn and go over
Can I have my
that.
time? Um, the one black character. Well, they had two black characters, but one black character with a speaking part. I don't even know the actress's name. Uh, Jessica Williams. I know the accent.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
is doing this accent that is so like obviously forced. It's like, it just, every time she speak, you're like, oh, this is a movie, and she's doing an accent, and like it is so out of place. And it's like, why you just didn't talk normally? Because everybody else is just using their regular old fucking accents, you know. And
I
it's
have a
like,
critique on her as well. That
and then let's get to the nitpicky parts for me as a nerd, as a somewhat fan of Harry Potter. You know what? I'm gonna rein that in. I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter.
Mhm.
I I for the longest time looked past a lot of the let's say downright weird shit that's in these books that are, like, the slaves that want to be slaves, and the
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
the obvious reference to Jewish people as greedy little goblins. I've overlooked those things in the past, but so I'm a huge fan. But in this movie, they're just like, they change a lot of the already established sort of lore in things. Like, Grindelwald is probably the best dark wizard of all time, because compared to Voldemort in this movie, because Voldemort only wanted to take over England. That was his goal. And he did that, but Grindelwald was like, nah, man, I'm going for the world. So it's like, and which could directly like, you know, directly contradicts what is written in the books, because like in the Harry Potter universe, like people barely even knew who Grindelwald was unless you were from Eastern Europe. like like Crumb even says, "Oh, you guys don't really know about him because he wasn't really big here in England, but like he was a really bad motherfucker where I come from." And it's like, and no, everybody should know who this dude is. He tried to literally take over the world. Like, he was literally like, for a few moments, like the leader of every wizard in the entire world. And it's like, like, why? Like, it's your shit. She's worse than George Lucas at this point. Like, at least there's something I like about the fucking prequels. Like, yeah, there's a lot of cool shit in the prequels, right? There's a lot of dumb shit, but there's a lot of cool shit. There's no cool shit in this. There's no cool shit in this. And it's like, just fire her. Like, Warner Brothers give her $4 billion to tell her to go take a fucking break, go and count your money somewhere, and then give it out to someone else. Because
well, that's the crazy thing about it. They brought her back for this movie. She didn't write the first two.
She wrote the first.
They brought her back. No, she didn't write the first. The first two they were written by somebody else. She inspired them, but she didn't write them. This is the first time she got a complete screenplay credit for these movies. So
get the fuck out.
Take that with what you want.
No, get her the fuck out of here. Just stop. Like she's problematic as it is, and you might not care about like the things she says as a person, but like if you go through the books, there's some stuff that's really problematic. So like, just take her out of the picture and put somebody, because there are people who grew up these things, who are now adults, who have great ideas. You could probably take this franchise in a great direction. She's not in. Get her out.
All right. Well, let me start off with first and foremost saying I fell asleep during this movie because it's some old good old bullshit. Let me secondly say this isn't as bad as the Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh, that's
because
bad.
That was a complete utter like trash can fire that I don't know how anybody like saw that movie and was like, yeah, that loyal fan base that's called Harry Potter, they'll be fine taking this piece of crap. Here's the biggest problem with it's two biggest problems with all this. Let's go with the first biggest problem. First biggest problem is what you said. This is supposed to be a magical world, and it is crapola. Even the fact that we are dealing with wizard Nazis again.
Yeah.
It should be in a situation that the world excites you, even though it has a grim subject matter, because we haven't gotten to the point where he's really even mobilized anything yet. So we should literally have almost cheerful feeling about the world, even if the main characters feel dread, which is something that was fantastically done in the original Harry Potter when no one believed that Voldemort had returned. All the rest of the world moved on in a cheerful manner, while Harry and the people that knew that Harry was telling the truth felt the dread and the weight of their knowledge. It's nothing cheerful about this movie ever. It's nothing magical, whimsical, nothing. Like, I still remember watching the original Harry Potter and watching the stairwells and everything move as they go along. That is a simple nod that's like, this is magical. This looks cool. The pictures and photos moving. Like little things that are put in the background that you don't even have to really do, but you do it because you want to display a world as being lived in and being magical. There is nothing in this movies that even hints at anything in this world being magical, except for when they pull out a wand. Mm-hmm. That is the pits. I will even take the fucking Chamber of Secrets and all the bull crap I have wrong with that movie and enjoy that way more than I ever in any of these last two, especially. That's what brings me to
the worst one, but you can be you do you.
Right, okay. If tomato. This brings me to my second point. The second point of the problem is this: you should have made a decision, and they didn't make a decision, and that's why this thing is suffering. The decision should have been either we make a whole prequel about Dumbledore and Grindelwald, so you could have started off with their relationship and how Dumbledore pretty much was enabling Nazism because of love. And you could have played through this whole thing for 5 movies. And I would have been fine with it, ending with the duel and the battle. And like you can even have it at the end, a la Iron Man 3, where Dumbledore is telling this story to somebody else, and like, or maybe Snape, maybe you do a CG Alan Rickman, and he's telling this whole story. Anyway, it's a beautiful way you could have told this story from beginning to end. That would have been very fascinating. The problem is you started off with the Fantastic Beasts, which is not a bad issue. Then you know what? Stay with the Fantastic Beasts. Stay with Newt as your main character. Give him 3-4 adventures of him just finding different mythical beasts. Hell, you could make this movie damn near Pokemon. just without him capturing them all the time, but seeing it and then making his villains things like poachers, dark
Yes.
magic wizards users that he's trying to stop from getting exotic beasts, like how remember Voldemort was drinking unicorn blood. Maybe he's trying to protect unicorns from. It's so many ways you could have made this series, but you had to pick a lane. You can't do both the lanes and then think us to be like these are good movies because you're serving two masters and neither one of them are even holding hands. It
They don't even know
boggles
each
my
other.
mind. Right. It boggles my mind that I can understand that concept. But people who are writing this movie or directing these movies or greenlighting these movies don't understand that. I know Fantastic Beasts, the first one, didn't do as great. So that's why they figured, oh, we need to throw familiar people and faces in here. I get it. But if you look back at the initial Harry Potter and all the initial movies, it didn't start really growing steam until, like you said, the second and third one, where people were like, oh, we have to go see these movies. And it was going crazy. The first Harry Potter sold very well, but it wasn't the blockbuster like the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh were. You sometimes have to slow roll it. Iron Man 1 wasn't the same blockbuster as the Avengers. You can slow walk some things with some success and build it up to be better. But they didn't want to do that, so they got panicked. They threw fucking Dumbledore in here. And like you said, you didn't even make Dumbledore quirky and cool. Dumbledore was the top of his class. He's a nerd. We don't like nerds in school. There's one trope in Hollywood that you should have continued was that the nerd was the outcast. So that would have made him and Grindelwald's falling in love a very easy thing because Dumbledore probably would have been looking for validation because he probably didn't have all the friends he needed and he probably wasn't as popular as all the other kids because he was
And
a
his
quirky,
family don't like him.
magical genius nerd. Exactly. And his family didn't rock with him. So that made it easy for him to be easy swept up into Grindelwald and Grindelwald's theories about how the world should work. Once again, that's a great story to tell, but we didn't do it because we wanted to talk about Fantastic Beasts. But then we didn't want to talk about Fantastic Beasts because we wanted to talk about Dumbledore, and it just builds on top of each other until it gets into this turd of a movie we just had to sit through. The last thing I want to bring up is that I like Mads Magic for as Grindelwald because I could never see in a world where Johnny Depp's Grindelwald is fucking Jude Law's Dumbledore.
Yeah.
At least this one was a thing that I could see that they could look like Hannibal looked like he could be a Grindelwald, that they could have a relationship that you would have understood why they felt the way they felt about each other. Also, I think he plays the silent intimidation very, very weird, good for a wizard. And I know it's going to shock people because people don't remember this. For a wizard in 3 movies that we barely seen do really great magic. He's done a couple of wand flickers that were destructive. But but it was nothing like, because Colin Farrell's version of him did a couple of flickers that were destructive, but nothing that we were like, why are people afraid of this dude? Like, why don't people just bust this dude upside his head and call it a day? Like, this dude ain't showing no magical talent.
What?
But at least his silent menace. Go ahead.
If I can stop you just 1 second, one of the greatest tragedies about this whole entire franchise is that Colin Farrell is not the main villain.
I agree. Especially after what he put in with the Penguin. I'm right there with you. But I didn't mind Hannibal. I thought he played the silent moments from. To your point of our woman, Jessica Williams, because, we're a blurb show. So let's talk about one of the Black people. I agree with you with the accent, but I will give her this one thing. She is probably the only person in this movie that I thought was having fun and wanted to be whimsical and be magical and be fun. She, like, you could tell she was like living in the moments of these moments in the movie, which was great.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you 100% on that.
The biggest issue then that kind of made me just really blow my gasket, like it almost made me just want to walk out the theater, but I took my family and my daughters with me. So they give one of the characters a stick, and we probably, because you see it on the preview, who gets this wand.
It's Jacob Kowalski, everybody. We're not gonna lie. Everybody else has wands. Who else wouldn't have a wand?
He gets this wand. This wand does nothing. And not when I say, guys, when I say, oh, he tries to do something, it just like, it's not like Ron Weasley ineffectively nothing because his wand's kind of broken. No. I mean, the wand literally is a paperweight. It's a stick. The wands you get at Universal, they do more than the wand he got in this movie. Because at least the wands in Universal, you can touch like glasses and water and stuff happens. This wand does nothing. The problem I have with this is that you've recruited a man, a muggle, for this dangerous mission.
No reason.
Like, you're stopping again a Nazi wizard. You didn't have the decency to at least even put enchantments on this wand for this guy. Maybe a protection spell. So if he actually got into some real stuff, something will come at him. The wand will put up a force field or something.
Give the man
Something,
a gun.
anything, anything. Maybe even
Say,
make it
no,
a
I'm good. I don't
teleporter.
need a
So-
wand. I got my 9.
Right, thank you. That's what I'm going to say. At this point, Jacob Krokowski should just got himself and got a gun. He should just pull out a Tommy gun and sprayed the whole scene down, and that would have been a more enjoyable movie for me. It should have been straight Inglourious Bastard style, Hitler's head getting shredded, and that should have ended the movie, and I'd have been like, thank God that they saved me an hour and a half, because you gave this guy a stick.
Honestly.
No stick with enchantments, nothing on here to defend himself, a stick. And you know why they gave him the stick, guys? They gave him the stick, and the reasoning was, so if somebody asks you until you can fit into the wizarding world, so we'll give you this stick, so if anybody sees you with this wand, they'll think you're a wizard. So you gave him, that's basically like saying, yeah, like, no, one, I've never seen anybody be like, hey, I need to see your wand registration. 2, I've never seen the possibility of like, you know what makes you more dangerous? You having a weapon where people think you can defend yourself with, and you can't defend yourself with it. That's what makes you more in danger.
And even anyway, 3, no one thinks he's a wizard in the whole thing. He literally tells everybody that he's not a wizard. Like,
that's what I thought. I thought they gave him this wand. Like, yeah, I'm like, oh, they gave him this wand. I'm like, oh, it's going to come into play later on. Like, it's going to have some enchantments. Because let's be real, that's one thing I will give Dumbledore in this whole series from Harry Potter. He's always seemed to give like regular objects. They end up having alternative meanings or powers later on that can help. Maybe in the 4th movie it does, because he does let him keep it. But let's say in his 3rd movie, absolutely useless piece of trash. It is a paperweight. Again, the wands at Universal are more useful than the wand this Joker got in this movie.
And let's also go with Dumbledore's plan here in this movie. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but it is absolutely like it makes it's what they're trying to say is that Dumbledore is clever, but what they show on the screen is Dumbledore is omnipotent, because everything that he has planned, there's no way he could have known this would have been gone a while, and he somehow had the perfect thing for it. And it's just like, it's like how, because the whole setup was that Grindelwald could see the future, so therefore they had to like counter him from seeing the future. But it's like all this shit is so straightforward. It's like, how did he not see that that's what it was? Like, it's so.
You know what? The plan of this movie is the plan they've had with this franchise. Hey, just everybody do a bunch of random stuff so nobody can predict what's going on, and maybe they will succeed. That is the exact board mission they had in when they made this franchise, because
just let things happen. Just let things happen.
It's,
you know, let's just pull new shit out of our asses. Like, you know, let's just have characters fight different universes or something. When in no point in any other part of the Harry Potter universe have they ever done this. That just seems like a whole new thing that they can do, which is weird.
Also, can I make one last gripe? And it's something to do with this movie. It's just a Harry Potter thing. Can we stop having wizarding battles where they just shoot lasers at each other like it's G.I. Joe? Can we finally have a wizarding battle like a la Dumbledore and Voldemort? Like, can I get a wizarding battle where you actually see magical beings with high-level competency in magic do magical fights? Because, you know, if I had competency in magic, I just wouldn't shoot a laser beam at you and go, boom, 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 boom. Like, I would actually send you like a flaming dragon stream down, and like,
or again, make the floor that you're standing on spikes, or you know, enchant, or make the magical the statues fight for me, or I don't know, make my dick bigger. A lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, it was one inspired fight in there with the marbles and throwing the guy into the wall, but that was in the trailer, so it doesn't even help me be like, well, they tried.
And even in that fight, it was all just pew 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 until that guy gets put in the wall.
Yeah,
and that was it.
So, all right, Jason, what is your rating for The Secrets of Dumbledore?
0 out of 5. Fuck this movie.
I'm 0.5 out of 5. Like I can't. This movie's terrible. And the only reason I gave it a 0.5 is because I think I would give The Crimes of Grindelwald a 0, and it was better than that. So I gave it a 0.5 just because of that.
Everybody getting zeros in my book. That gets a 0. This gets a 0. Shit. The new video game gets a 0 for me. I'm surprised. Like, I still eat Chick-fil-A, so I'm not, you know, there's no such thing as ethical consumerism, but I shouldn't have gave this lady my money.
Nah. All right, let's go to the part of the show that everybody loves the most, the ending.
Oh, I was going to say where we shoot.
Oh well, that's the other show. Remember, that's the same
Oh
one
yeah.
where we got to have that Batman discussion. We have a lot of other shows we got to worry about. But guys, thank you so much for again listening to the N Word for Nerd podcast. As always, you can catch us in all the places that all the things that will show us are already at. Yeah, it was a jam-packed show this week. Hope next week, hopefully, we're going to bring you some more goodness because I think we got Nicolas Cage on tap next week.
That's
I think we
convenient.
got Alexander Skarsgård on tap
The third best
next week.
Skarsgård.
Yeah, facts. And then we'll probably find some other TV or funness to throw in there as well. As always, Jason, do you have any final words for everybody?
Just be kind, be considerate. What Waylon said in everything is just choose kindness. Choose kindness. And always tip your servers and bartenders at least 20%, including Jaren. But you can also just, spit in Jaren's face as well. I love you, Jaren.
As always, guys, thank you for listening, watching. We will see and speak to you next week. Peace.